Councilwoman, I just read that Scottsdale is one of the most expensive cities to live in Scottsdale, in the city. Hold on. I just read that Scottsdale is one of the most expensive cities in the country to live in, with average home prices over $500,000. How can we, as Scottsdale, make the city more affordable for our workforce, such as teachers, first responders, our officers, and so on?
Yeah, so the prices of rentals and the prices of homes in Scottsdale have recently spiked. And I just want to point out that when my family moved to Scottsdale in 1996, teachers, police officers, and the workforce, the nurses, they lived in Scottsdale, whether they lived in an apartment or a house. And so what has changed? A couple factors in the last couple of years. We have had short-term rentals take Scottsdale by,
Yeah, that's okay.
we did this. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm going to move your chair back a little bit, or put the handle down, because it's beating it. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There you go. Now you can go under.
Nice.
Is that better? Oh,
Yeah,
there you go.
Okay, but now I'm okay.
You want to start your answer again? Or
I'll just start my answer again. Okay. So that's a great question. Housing prices, whether it's the rental cost or the cost to purchase a home, have spiked over the last couple of years, and there are many factors that have led to that. In 1996, when my family and I moved here, the workforce was buying or renting homes in Scottsdale, so that's changed. Over the last couple years, short-term rentals have turned roughly 4,000 to 5,000 of our homes into hotels. That's a huge inventory of rentals and or homes to purchase that are no longer on the market. Then with COVID and the work at home, we saw a larger than usual influx of new residents. And so that has been a factor. And so we have turned many of our apartment complexes as well. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Just keep going.
Keep going. Okay.
Yeah.
And a final factor, which is good but has had a downside, is that many of our apartment communities that were available for rent were converted to condos. And during the housing bust of 2009, we had winter visitors purchase those as homes. So we have a large population of snowbirds. That's good for the economy, but it did reduce the inventory of our houses. So there's a number of ways that we can tackle this. Number one, we have to remember that this is a short-term problem in the sense that housing availability is always cyclical. We have something like 10,000 apartments that have been approved but not built. And this is a problem. So for 10 years in the 2010s, the City Council was approving a record number of apartments but didn't require that those developers perform.
Okay.
So we have 10,000 apartments coming on board. We have short-term rental regulations that we're trying to incentivize long-term, not just short-term rentals. And then we have these apartments not getting built. So what have I done in my 4 years of office? Number one, for the first time ever, when I negotiate with developers, I include performance. So the zoning is attached to a time frame so that they get the projects built. So even though my projects tend to be lower density and lower height, because that's more fitting with Scottsdale, the fact that they're required to start building the projects, we're going to see new apartments. Also, for the first time ever in Scottsdale's history, I was able to negotiate some workforce housing components. And the city cannot require a developer to lower rent. We don't have rent control and other mechanisms. But we've had developers come to us and say, we're willing to commit 7 units of a new apartment complex to, it's not low income, but it's workforce housing. So the rent for those 7 units will be 30% of the person's income.
Okay.
So that's kind of cool. We've had 2 projects approved that now have this workforce component, and I'm hearing that there are a number of other projects moving forward. We've set aside money to tackle not only homelessness but homeless prevention, and then there are a lot of programs regionally, because the key is to prevent people from losing their homes, and that helps keep them in their jobs. And of course, I've worked to raise police and fire and other staff member salaries too, because that needs to keep up with inflation. So those are some of the measures that I've taken to help keep Scottsdale filled with people who work and live here.
Very nice. Moving on, tell me how you plan on working with intergovernmental bodies such as the Salt River Pima Maricopa County Tribe, Maricopa County, as well as the surrounding valleys here.
Yeah, so I am on a committee, a statewide committee, and for the Arizona League of Cities and Towns, and we work with SRPMIC, which is our neighbor, the tribe. But when it comes to water, I think that's where we really need to talk about working together, and we are, but we need to step it up. So Scottsdale has always been a leader in water, and you may not know this, but we have a treatment plant that can turn sewage into drinking water. And we are one of 3 in the country. So we literally have beer companies that are buying our recycled water. So future water supplies will come from 2 new sources: conservation and recycled water. And of course, conservation is water we don't use. So back to working together. Scottsdale can't succeed without everyone succeeding. So there's no such thing as Scottsdale succeeding and with water and Tempe failing. We either all succeed or we all fail. So we need to coordinate with communities around the city, around the county and the state on water conservation. So we need to maximize the use of our facilities, our treatment. We need to enable cities in the West Valley to also recycle their water. And we need to make policies that make sense regionally to tap those 2 to tap, again, recycled water and conserved water, and also try to stay away from short-term policies. I'm very worried about using aquifers, for instance, to justify large new development. So I think water is the number 1 reason that this state, all the cities, all the towns and the counties and the tribes, you'll see us all working very hard together.
Very nice. We all need water. We cannot argue that.
Yeah. I'll point out one other thing on that topic too. In 2019, the Arizona Corporation Commission, which people like to ignore because they don't quite understand energy and their meetings are just mind-bogglingly long, but the Corporation Commission was about to sunset energy efficiency rebates. So those are rebates that the utilities are required to give to cities or other entities for not using electricity.
Okay.
And so kind of like water conservation, the greenest, cheapest new energy source is actually conserved energy we don't use. And so in that case, I was informed that these energy efficiency rebates were about to expire. I worked with other cities and city council members. I worked with the colleagues on my council, and I spoke personally with commissioners, Arizona Corporation commissioners, and we did protect those.
Very nice. What are 3 main areas of improvements or changes on your agenda if re-elected?
Well, I would say they're not changes, they're extensions of what I'm already doing. So I was elected to protect and preserve, but more importantly, to bring community priorities to City Hall. And 4 years later, I would say that we've had a lot of successes with input from the residents. Infrastructure is funded. We've scaled back development so that it's got that Scottsdale premium. I've protected neighborhoods from everything from speeding cars to overdevelopment within the neighborhoods. And we've protected the preserve. We've protected funding for vulnerable populations. And really, residents are back at the, they're back in City Hall. The community and City Council are aligned and working together as partners. So that's really important. Sustainability, both financial and environmental, have been a huge part of the work that I've done, and that is going to continue. When we talk about being able to afford to live in Scottsdale, utility bills are a huge component of that. We have senior citizens that don't have a mortgage, but they can't afford their utility bills. So they're turning off their power. They're trying to sit in their house hot because they can't afford utility bills. So we're working on ways to, again, make energy efficiency, make homes use less energy, and lower utility bills for current or future residents. We are working to secure that safe and reliable water. We're working to reduce the impact of heat in our downtown, which has the highest, that's where we're experiencing the highest heat. And of course, our downtown is crucial to our tourism industry.
Yes.
So the environmentally sustainable, I'll start that one over. Let's see. Our sustainability initiatives are for the environment, for the economy, and for our quality of life and our public health. So that will continue to be a big focus of mine.
Good. Last question. We have about a minute left. What are some ways you have been involved in the city outside of City Council?
Oh, okay. Well, I've been involved in many ways for many years. So I'm definitely a part of this community. I have 3 kids who went to SUSD, so I've always been involved in that. Currently, I sit on the board of Waste Not. It is a food rescue organization. So we rescue many, many tons of food from casinos, from restaurants, and from hotel banquets. And that food is immediately delivered to 90 charities. So that's a very important part of our zero waste initiatives at the city, but it also is feeding people who absolutely are enjoying the food. And then I am a volunteer for the Granite Reef Senior Center. So I go and pack food and help distribute food for low-income seniors. And I am a very active mountain biker as well and preserve advocate. So.
Very nice. Well, go find out more information at solangeforscottsdale.com. Early election is going on now. Go to the ballots on August 2nd. Good luck on your re-election. Thank you for coming in. And I encourage everyone, please go vote, go vote, go vote. It is your right. Take advantage of it while you can. Thank you for coming in.
You're welcome. You might want to say that name again.
Dang it.
Solange. It's okay. Don't worry.
I told you. It's like the more I say it, the worse I'm going to be.
Yeah.
Solange. To find out more information, please go to solangeforscottsdale.com. You can find out more information on her and everything she's done for the past 4 years. Thank you for joining me today. Early voting is going on right now. Go to the ballots August 2nd. Please use your right to vote and have a say in your community.